Are you interested in real estate investing but not quite sure where to get started? Do you want to get the know-hows on creating ongoing passive income using the buy and hold strategy? Hi, I'm Janice Bowles, licensed realtor and co-founder of B Premier Ventures, a real estate development and consulting firm where we buy and beautify distressed real estate, renovate it, and resell for profit. With over 15 years of investing experience, B Premier has extensive knowledge in rural land development, fix and flips, and rental acquisitions. B Premier's current portfolio consists of properties within Florida and Virginia. Our firm's services includes investor project consulting, project management, and group coaching. For more information, visit our website at bpremierventures.com and schedule a complimentary discovery session or subscribe to our email list. It's free. Follow me on Instagram at Janice Bowles for additional real estate investing tips. B Premier Ventures, we buy and beautify.
Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of Let's Do It Talk Show. It's your girl, Ladrine Howard Peterson, the CEO and founder of Do It, delivering on ideas and thoughts. And you know what I do in a nutshell. I help to turn dreamers into doers, and I do it from two aspects. I do it from the aspect of career development. Resume writing, interview preparation, you have an issue on your job, performance plans, I'm your girl. And then I also do it from the aspect of business. If you're looking to start a business, you want to expand your business, or you have some ideas and thoughts and you don't know quite what you want to call your business or do with your business, hey, I am your girl. So here at the Let's Do It Talk Show, we have it primarily designed for entrepreneurs, right? But as an entrepreneur, myself and my colleagues, we feel that you have to look at it from all aspects. So not only do we look at it from one stance, we look at it from faith, we look at it from finances, we look at it from business and career, the future, and we also look at it from family and relationships. So today is the second Monday, and we call it Money Making Monday. So we talk all about finances and about your dollars. Today's episode is called Your Black Dollars Matter. Yeah, your black dollars matter. And we're going to talk about a couple things. We're going to talk about how the dollar circulates in the community versus others. We're going to talk about the power of the black dollar. And then we're also going to talk about teaching everyone, teaching your dollars how to make more sense. So we're going to teach and give some tips to everyone. But you know what I do before I get started into the show? I talk about my weekend. And today we are going to talk about my weekend, which was celebrating my birthday. So my birthday was June 4th. Shout out to all the other Geminis, and I celebrate all month long. I spent the day to myself, pretty much with a crab seafood theme. Got a surprise call from my auntie. Got a special delivery with some lobster and mashed potatoes. That's just a view of my backyard looking up. And I always do my annual goals. So that's me writing down, looking at different things. And then I finally saw Becoming. That's a few of my favorite snacks that I was eating along the way. But Becoming was a very nice thing. There's a card from my mother. Annually, my mother gives me a card, a cake, some cash, and cuisine. And so likewise, she did that. So the big thing was my virtual paint party. So it was like 32 people who registered. A couple people had other conflicts that they ended up not making it. But my girls showed up. I turned my basement into the Zoom room. Me and my girls had matching t-shirts and best friends socks. Those are our pictures. And then you'll just see a lot of the pictures of my friends, their paintings, and one of the things that I posted about was the stylishness of everyone. we had the same picture, the same palette, but everybody came up with creative things. And it was funny how it was different pairs where they had pictures that were similar. We had two AKAs, Tina Hunter and Bernadette. Their pictures, the color hats and the dresses were the same. That's Sonia's picture. That one was nice. Kelly. So many people, so many different shades of our complexions, and so many different creative spins on their pictures, and that's Latrice's. So it was great having people from my job, my regular friends, my family, and just people that I've known over the years. I think the person that I've known the longest was 40 years, and the person that I've known the shortest, is it Sabrina? No, actually, Dr. Kern. Dr. Kern is my newest friend. But just wonderful, beautiful pictures, just a great time. A lot of the comments that I got was given everything that's going on in the world today, it gave each and every one of them, as well as me, the opportunity just to step away, to smile, to laugh, and to have some fun. So we escaped for a minute to refresh and rejuvenate ourselves and just have some plain old fun. So yeah, so couple more pictures. Oh yeah, so those coming to an end. This is me and my girls. We had our after party. They told me that they made me a virgin margarita, but I was acting so silly. So they promised me that it was virgin, but I don't know. But I had a really, really, really nice time. I took time off, leave from work. I took time off from do it. So I had a great time, and then I went back to work a half a day today. So great, great, great birthday. I really enjoyed it despite everything that's going on. So let's jump into the show. Black dollars matter. Black dollars matter. So with me today, you all know my contributing hosts and the ones who bring all the financial information, my financial guru. So first up, we have Janice Bowles. Janice, tell the people who you are.
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? My name is Janice Bowles. I am the co-owner of B Premier Ventures, where we buy and beautify distressed properties, renovate and flip for profit. Site again, as usual, as always, to be a part of the Money Making Mondays night with my ladies here discussing, all matters Mondays. And great discussion tonight with regards to, the black dollar and black matters, with everything that's going on, within the nation. So very excited to be here tonight.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And next up is Sacagawea Fanning. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, it's Sacagawea Fanning. Thank you so much, Ladrine, for that introduction. I am the CEO and founder of Fanning Financial Group, as well as regional marketing director here with my broker, First Financial Security. My whole platform is helping people with their finances, budgeting, retirement, having a stream of tax-free retirement. I want us to get into these strategies of making our dollars work for us, especially in our community. This movement of Black Lives Matter has brought it up even more and put a spotlight on where wealth and money is a huge factor when it comes to everything that matters. It's not the saying of money is the root of all evil. It's just money makes it easier to do other things, to live stress-free. So I want to show people how to get to that pathway of being stress-free and increasing their dollars and making their dollars work better for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm about to sign up with you again. Like your introduction this time was really, really good. And remind me, I have someone who wants to connect with you. Then also up, last but definitely not at least, Shanae Robinson. Tell the people who you are.
Hey guys, it's me, your girl, Shanae Robinson. I am the CEO and founder of the Professional Credit Diva. So I guess that makes me the HD I see the head diva in charge. And for me, diva means doing it very aggressively. And what I do is I teach business owners and individuals as well as couples on how to achieve their goals and dreams through raising their credit score. So actually how to build wealth with credit, because we've been taught so long that credit could be a negative thing or, a bad word, but I'm here to teach you how to gain wealth using your credit and how to make it work for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, one of the things that I want to talk about is the looting. So that's going to take us to transition us into circulation of the dollar in our community. So a lot of people have a lot to say about the looting that's going on, right? And people have a right to their opinions. And one of the things that I wanted to hit upon is this video that I saw on YouTube. And the YouTube was of a young girl, maybe like mid-20s or so, I'm assuming. And she was giving her reflection and opinion and expressing how she felt about everything that was going on. And she made some very pivotal points that caught my ear and kind of got me to thinking on various levels from my thought that I had about this. So her points that she made was, let's look at everything into perspective. Let's take it, look at the big picture, and look at the smaller aspect of what's going on. So she talked about Black Wall Street. She talked about what it took to build and create Black Wall Street. But not only that, she emphasized how non-African Americans came in and destroyed Black Wall Street, burnt it down. So she talked about how already to begin, we were years and years and years behind, right? So we did what we needed to do as a community, so I'm talking in whole, did what was necessary to create this Black Wall Street where Black owners, businesses, and everyone was really striving, things were looking really great. Through jealousy or evilness, they came and destroyed it. So now, let's fast forward to where we are now. So yes, I know that it is, the rioting is because of the reaction to George Floyd's death, right? So keep that in mind. So she talked about the reaction and the way we reacted. A lot of people are like, George's family wouldn't want that. That isn't a representation of his death. Point in fact, true. Like I totally believe that. But her point that she made and that she was trying to like hit home about is, what's left? What do you do when you're tired, you're upset, and when you try to do it the right way, Black Wall Street, they came in and destroyed it. So now you have a body of people that are faced with everyday trials with other people not necessarily showboating, but when they see it from a stance and they feel definitely like the have-not. They feel like the have-not. So they feel like there are all of these things out here in the world that are capable to have, but for one reason or another with their situation, they have been unable to attain this. So yes, they go into the rioting, the peaceful rioting, and where we all have seen proof, so it's not a rumor, where there's been other people starting the breaking in, not the breaking in with the smashing of the windows and everything, then everybody else is just falling on board, and then it became a cycle that has been repeated and continues to be repeated up to a point. But the facts are, and the points that this young lady made, and I have to pull it and I'm gonna make sure that I put it in the feed. But she was so upset about how are you going to try to characterize someone because of what they're doing. Look at the systematic things that have happened to them and try to understand them and get in their mindset. And for her, although she wouldn't be the one that looped, she understands them. So it took me to listen to her to get into the mindset of a people that have been suppressed. I've been suppressed, but to get in the mindset of where they are and what they're going through. So she made some very, very good points. And then she went on to say the point that I've been making. Like, in doing that, they have insurance, so it's not really hitting them in the pocket because they're going to have insurance. The part that's going to hurt them is that the building up and the time that it takes to do so, and all of the unwanted responsibilities and activities that have to go along with it. But my point in case is saying that when we try to do things the right way, and we try to like build up, it was again hatred, and it was anger, it was jealousy, and all of these other things that came in and destroyed it. So she was like, if you're doing it the right way, and they're going to destroy you. So she was like, you damned if you do, and you damned if you don't. She made very, very good points, and I will make sure that I put that in the feed. Y'all have to watch that. Very, very, very good point. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into the topic about how the circulation of a dollar in our community. And Shanae is going to lead that discussion. Shanae.
Yes. We definitely need to focus on and be so cognizant of where we actually spend our money, because this has brought to light, we've known it to a degree, but this, the incident with George Floyd has brought to light that our dollars have power. We have buying power. We have the ability to shut, things down, and we have the ability to lift businesses up. I think what happens in our communities is that us as a community, as Black folk, we don't give our people the benefit of the doubt. We don't give them time. And I don't really, understand why. Like the corner stores, and things like that. It behooves me as to why we have so many, Black designers that are out here, but we'll take our money to, Gucci and Prada and things of that nature, to show that, hey, I have money for this, I can purchase that and everything, instead of, spending it in our communities. Now, what I try to do myself, and I try to teach my son, is it's nothing wrong with wanting, nice things, and I can afford the Gucci, the this, and so forth and so on. But you also have to take pride in yourself and in your your communities and everything. I think with us as a community, we don't have it's not that we don't have the resources that other communities, do have or whatever. I just think that we're not educated enough. We don't take the time out to to really, really learn how we can, get approved for loans and things of that nature. So it's kind of like hard for us to, buy a building or, things like that, way so we can bring it back into the community. I definitely know that for every other type, every other ethnic race that has whatever company or whatever, store or whatever brand that they have, that there is, an African American, a Black community counterpart that we can, support. We just have to show unity as a community, and not just when we're mad, not just when something happens, not just during this particular time, and then next month we go back, we get lazy or whatever. But it has to be something that is carried on for years and years and years, and generations and generations and generations. I think us as a community, it's definitely power in numbers, and our dollars, although all dollars are green, our Black dollars have the ability to uplift our community. We just have to be cognizant, and we just have to be consistent with it also. And I think also need to do is take time for those businesses that, that don't really, offer what we're looking for. I think as a customer, we need to let them know. We need to let them know in a positive way so that they can do better, so that they can, have professionalism or, consistency or whatever it is that we feel as though that they're lacking. And I also think us as Black business owners, when that criticism comes to us, we need to know how to take it positively to improve our business for our clients and not, take it as, bashing or putting somebody down or anything like that. I think there is a lot of potential in Black businesses, and I know that there is a lot of growth that we can do. I think that if we definitely stay together and build up our communities on a consistent basis, that, we would definitely take over the world. And it wouldn't be just one section of the world that is known as Black Wall Street, but it would be the world known as Black Wall Street.
Yes, very, very, very great comments. And one of the things, Kevin said that he has devoted to spend at least $200 a month to only Black businesses. I've been going over that thought. So yeah, that's a very good thought. And another thing, when they talked about the stimulus check, they were like, spend at least $200 on a Black business. I was like, if you can, spend all of it or as much as you can on a Black business so that you can circulate it back into our community. One startling fact that I hear over and over again, but the first time I heard it, it blew my mind. And it says the lifespan of $1 in the Asian community is 28 days. In the Jewish community, the lifespan of $1 is 19 days. And the lifespan in the African American community is 6 hours. 6 hours.
Believe it.
So when I first heard that, I could not believe it. And then I started reading about it, made sense. Then I started looking and talking to people and just watching what people do. Yeah, a lot of the labels, a lot of the clothing, pretty much outside of our community. And there are different factors that go along with it. And I think that everybody has a right to purchase whatever they want to. So there are things with the pricing, because if you have a smaller business, it costs them more to create a given product. So their prices are going to be a little bit high until they reach a certain level, right? So these are some things that you have to think about. And if you had to pay 20 cents more to keep something in your community, would you do it? So when you're looking at pricing, don't look at price dollar sign to dollar sign, because really you think that's apple to apple, but it's really not. And I'm really trying to get people to stop only focusing on things on the micro level. When you're focusing on the micro level, you're going to miss the big picture of things. So when you're doing your evaluation of a given product, look at it in the totality of what it is. Your value will be totally different. You can't only focus on the price tag. And then the other thing on that, and we have to figure that out. So what we're going to do quickly is we're going to go to commercial, and on the flip side, we're going to continue on with the topic. So we'll be right back.
interested in real estate investing but not quite sure where to get started? Do you want to get the know-hows on creating ongoing passive income using the buy and hold strategy? Hi, I'm Janice Bowles, licensed realtor and co-founder of B Premier Ventures, a real estate development and consulting firm where we buy and beautify distressed real estate, renovate it, and resell for profit. With over 15 years of investing experience, B Premier has extensive knowledge in rural land development, fix and flips, and rental acquisitions. B Premier's current portfolio consists of within Florida and Virginia. Our firm's services includes investor project consulting, project management, and group coaching. For more information, visit our website at bpremierventures.com and schedule a complimentary discovery session or subscribe to our email list. It's free. Follow me on Instagram at Janice Bowles for additional real estate investing tips. B Premier Ventures, we buy and beautify.
All right, you all, welcome back. Thank you so much. Thanks for everyone who is online. I appreciate you. Kevin always chiming in. And then we also have Neek, looking forward to you coming back and sharing some more with our audience. And we also have Maria Thorpe. We have Teresa Warren. We have Latasha Briscoe. We have Christine Brown. Hey, Christine. And the other ones I cannot see, but thank you all for joining. Make sure that you share this information out. Pretty much, we are adjusting and shifting our shows based on what's going on in the world. So I don't think that it would do our show any justice if we did not hit upon all of the different issues that goes on. So we're keeping with the theme of the first, second, third, fourth, and so on, but we are also putting this twist in it to make sure that we use our platform to do whatever we can to support our community, enlighten them, and also to educate them. So next up, we are going to talk about the power of the black dollar. The power of the black dollar. And we have Janice, who is going to share information, and she also has a guest that's online as well. Janice.
Hey, everyone. With everything, that has been happening these past few weeks, we've got to make sure that we have to make it an objective to discuss wealth within our households. I mean, there's just no question about that. Wealth as a household objective is just so, it's essential, and it has been, but I feel like with the times of what we're going through right now, it's even more so. And educating ourselves is just really key. I was doing some research, and I was really surprised and shocked to find out, and I was reading an article from Washington Post, and this article was posted last year, back in March, and it basically talked about how Black home ownership is at its lowest since before the Fair Housing Act of 1968, and when I read that caption, I was like, wow. It's at its lowest even before the Fair Housing Act. And just to familiarize everyone a little bit, I'm sure that, many are aware of what the act is about, but just to educate and just to familiarize you guys with a little more about it, is the Fair Housing Act of 1968, which is also known as the Title VIII of the Civil Rights Act of 1968. It was passed by Congress in an effort to impose a comprehensive solution to the problem of unlawful discrimination, in housing. And the unlawful discrimination in housing was based, upon race, color, sex, national origin, and religion. So the article basically indicated that there really hasn't been too much of a change with regards to Blacks and home ownerships, even since prior to the act being in force in 1968. And it was kind of going into a discussion as to why that disparity still seems to exist even today. And basically, HUD, we all know about HUD, which is the Department of Housing and Urban Development. It was in charge of the enforcement of the act. And it really talked about in depth, the article was more so about, there is still racial segregation that still exists. African Americans only preside in what's called predominantly white neighborhoods. That's only like a 35% ratio. It still talks about how segregation still exists with regards to the equity that we have in our properties. It talked about how African Americans, we kind of shy away from buying in predominantly white neighborhoods, and that's really kind of on the psyche, if you ask me. We shy away from that. And then when we do purchase, we purchase in more so, within our ethnicity and our areas. But then the value of our properties, are less than our white counterparts. And, that's very disturbing and alarming as well. But, home buying, we buy homes, but again, our values are even less. And that, just reading this article, it infuriated me, because number one, of the fact that, I really stressed upon education and building. One of the first aspects of building wealth is home ownership and becoming a homeowner and taking advantage of that, and then, taking your equity and moving into investment and things of that nature. But to hear that even today, and we're in 2020, that, we are still under the rug in a sense, and are still thought of less than, is just very disturbing. And we've got to make a change with that. And the dollar, our dollar, and our power with our dollar is just, it's incredible what we can do. And, I just can't stress enough how we just got to continue to educate ourselves, educate the next generations, even educate ourselves with even other avenues of diversifying and investing. I was very excited to find out that my co-contributor host here, Saka Wajia, she and I are part of a platform which teaches in education with regards to how to trade foreign currency and things of that nature. So again, it's just very, very important that we continue to just educate ourselves even more so, and stretch our buying power, and really get more to in home ownership and investing and things of that nature. So, that, again, that article, it just took me to another level. I was just totally shocked. And you know what? The article came out in 2019, which was last year. What we're facing at the beginning of 2020, a new decade, it's not by any kind of coincidence. It's no coincidence, even with regards to, our presidency and the timing of him being in office and everything that is stirring. And, we're tired, and we're seeing that we're getting other races and nationalities are joining in because they're tired as well. So, the Black power and just joining together and educating ourselves is really critical and very essential.
Definitely, definitely. And Janice, I know that you have a special guest that you wanted to share some information about, and give her a moment to speak and share as well. So we have Miss Nisha Hall on the line.
I saw that Nisha was on earlier. I think we may have lost her, but Nisha Hall, I'm in Fredericksburg, Virginia area, and Nisha Hall is a co-business owner of the Virginia Black Business Directory. And what she was going to touch briefly about, and I'll put some information in the comments about her business, but here locally, she has raised an initiative where I'm going to share some information with regards to her initiative, where they have raised funds. Her business has raised over $13,000 since the George Floyd incident, whereas it's a defense fund, a legal defense fund that has been set
Wow.
up for the surrounding counties here in Fredericksburg, Spotsylvania, Stafford. And it's a defense fund where you can donate to help any type of legal defense that any individuals who may be arrested with regards to, marching and protesting, peacefully with regards to what we're facing within our nation right now. So her information, again, is the Virginia Black Business Directory. And I'll put some information in the comments about even more of her organization. You guys can take a look at her website and see the wonderful, things that they're doing to support the community. Because community involvement and community support is just, it's critical and it's essential at this time frame.
That's very awesome, and I hope that towards the end of the show that she's able to call in. One of the things that I have responded to Kevin asks, does peaceful protest still work? And my response to him is that, I think that it will. I think that we will get back to the point. I don't watch a whole lot of the news, but I have been dipping in and dipping out just to try to stay abreast of what's going on. And one scene that I saw, it was a clipping where it was the protests going on, and it was a young man with a bullhorn that was walking, and he was in between police and national force, and also on the other side, the people who were protesting. And he was chanting and they were saying some things, and then at the end of it, they called it a truce. And the protesters kneeled down, and the military and the police followed suit and did the same thing. So it was a peaceful, moment. And not only it just didn't stand or in there and them giving truth, they actually got up and hugged another. So right there, clearly where the line was divided, and the protesters were on this side, police and military on that side, seeing them kneel down and then them getting back up and reaching out and hugging one another. So that's why I responded to Kevin the way that I did. And also now, as we're moving forward, definitely the whole thing of having money to bail people out. People are on fire, they're ready to fight, but having that extra protection, because a lot of them don't even care. They don't even know the possibilities of what can come out of this. And it's not a fair fight. So you could be doing something the correct way, but you don't necessarily get treated fairly. We already know that. But some people go in gung-ho and not realizing the things that can happen, the threat that it really is upon you, your life, and your freedom by you doing that. So to have a fund and support in another stronger way to help you, if you go and you're willing, then you have the support. So one of the things that I have been talking about in discussions with various people are, we have two bodies of people, and we have a gap. And we have to recognize the gap. We have young people, strong, willing, able, and have the drive and want to fight and want to march and want to protest for what's right. Then we have some older people who have done it. They know what to do, but they're tired. They're tired for one reason or another. They may not have felt like they had the backing that they needed to continue on. But really, between Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and the newcomers on here, we didn't really have anybody marching. When President Obama was in office, he did what he could do, and we felt a sense of, yes, we have a black man in the office, so this is going to change, this is going to change, this is going to change. And quickly we saw that his fight was just as much as anybody else's fight, even with the title of the President of the United States of these Americas. And because of his ethics and his integrity, he carried it out in the way, in the magnitude where he didn't abuse his power, as we're currently seeing right now, where currently we're seeing the shots being called for any and every given reason. But I say that as I was building the situation, there is a gap. There is a gap. And my suggestion and my thoughts on what we do to bridge the gap is we come together and we bring the best of everything. So those who have the experience and understand what it takes, the potential of what happens, educate those who are ready, gung-ho, and ready to fight. So half of them probably did not expect for them to receive the violence and the plastic bullets and all of these other things. They thought that perhaps it was going to be a peaceful march. History will tell you that it doesn't matter if you go in a positive manner, that things can change and things can switch up. So I just think that if everybody comes together and do their part, whatever their part is, but if everybody comes together, I think that we can sincerely bridge that gap. And at the beginning of it, me as well as a lot of people, I'm sure, I have said it, and I feel like this is different. Like, this is different. The stance from the mayor of D.C. Everybody can talk about her, about what she don't do and how she play face for the finances, and she funds this, but she doesn't fund this, and she does this. But everybody can say whatever they want to say about her. I'm not debating. But the one thing that I can say is her making that stand in terms of what she did with Black Lives Matter and painting it yellow, and how she is on social media, like making comments. Man, that picture is a beautiful thing. And there's a video that she has that goes with it. If you have not seen it, please go on, follow her either on Instagram and see her information. I also put it on my Facebook pages. This right here, you see how big and bold it is, and to have a number of different people, Black people, white people, everybody coming together for the stance of this, of what they believe in. The president is the president, and he has his certain powers, but there are powers in numbers. And this, Black Lives Matter Plaza. You see that? 916th Street. So when I tell y'all that I definitely give kudos to the mayor for making that bold move. And there was one like meme, but it was directly on point. And it was basically talking about you can't play checkers at a chess match. And that was like so on point. She killed it right there. So I just want y'all to just be mindful of the things that's going on. And I really feel like this is different. I really feel like this is different. Last night there was a prayer call from, I want to say 7 o'clock to midnight. Pastors from all around this area. It was a lot from DC metropolitan area, but all of the popular pastors that you all know, some of the singers, pastors, Marvin Sapp and others, they were on the line and they were just praying back to back for our nation. So I really, really, really think that that this is, I really feel like this is different. I feel like this is different. So we shall see what happens, and I hope everybody keep their fight. I hope everybody voted, but I hope everybody keep up the fight. Keep up the fight, and we will get through this. But I want us to get through this strong. So the next topic that we're going to talk about is teaching everyone about their dollars. So we want to teach you how to teach your dollars how to make more sense. Teach your dollars how to make more sense. And we're not talking about cents. So we don't want your dollars to turn into pennies and quarters. We want you to make more sense out of it. So Saka Jawea is going to lead us in this discussion. Saka Jawea.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. And before I get started, I just wanted to give some shout outs to people. So I wanted to shout out Franco Mills, my mom, Loretta Fanning, my sis, Felicia Fanning, really good friend, Bridget Bierman. Thank you so much. Willie Britton, Lee Milborn, Marilyn Donnelly, Antonio Leach, Mrs. Fennell. Thank you so much. Allison Israel, Stanley Curry, Lakia Colors, Tabitha, thank you, and Wendy and Katrina Sims. Thank you so much for tuning in to the show. So I'm so happy you guys could join in tonight. And so we have been covering some awesome topics. I love being with these ladies every night. We've been getting some great information, especially on the current climate with the Black Lives Matter movement. So for me, when it comes to teaching how your dollars need to make sense, I love to stress budget, strategy, because you want to make sure at the end of the day, your lifestyle is reflective of the income and the money that you have. It's a lot of times everyone falls into that situation when they are perhaps living beyond their means. And I think, unfortunately, when it came to the stay-in-place order, the shutdown, and so many other factors that have been happening, it's been a wake-up call to people regarding their finances and their dollars. So it is never too late. It is never too early. It is always on time when you take the proactive steps to make sure that your money is working well for you. So in order to do that, I mean, the essential things you have to do is take a look at your current budget. What is really going on? Because we can't affect things and we can't put money back into the community if we don't have it to give. So it's like taking a very firm look at where we are, what our expenses are, and living within those means. Because sometimes when you've gotten yourself into a hole, you feel like it's unsolvable. It's impossible, that you can't do anything to affect it. So to me, it's like with the Black Lives Matter movement, the voices and the protests, it needed to happen. And also, it's been a critical time of voting. Voting is so huge too. People, you have the right, you have the power to vote. You select who is in the House. And I am speaking from personal experience, being on Capitol Hill for a year. Guess what? The congressmen and the congresswomen and the senators, they are only there in that place because of you. Without your vote, they can't be there. So voting does matter. I know a lot of times in our community, you see the person that you vote for not win or anything or things like that. But I try to stress to people, no, voting is so important. It's so crucial because who represents you represents also what type of bills and laws are passed. So that's why it is so critical that people do get out there on their local and federal levels and start voting and making sure their vote is heard because it matters. So I'm gonna get back to the budget. And so what it is that I always tell people, look at your money strategy from a today standpoint and a tomorrow in the future. How do you really want to live your life? Are you stressing over finances so much to a point where it's causing issues between yourself, your family, your significant other, your kids? Then something has to change. To me, I see it as an analogy. If you take a rubber band, and you stretch it and stretch it and stretch it. Even though a rubber band is elastic, it gets to the point where it can't take the stretch anymore and it breaks. So you want to get yourself to a point where you don't get to the point where you're breaking yourself financially. So it's really taking a hard look at your budget, seeing what is coming into the household income wise. And a lot of times, unfortunately, in this area, in the DMV area, sometimes the 9 to 5, the income coming from it just isn't cutting it. And sometimes you do have to put on a side hustle. And, even if you have other dreams and goals to be debt free, to pay off certain debt like student loans, pay down your mortgage, pay off credit card, things of that nature, you have to see what those bills are looking like. What are the expenses? Because we all like to live well, but if the income is not supporting the lifestyle, then something has to give. We have to change it in some manner where we have to take a hard look and look at the numbers black and white, and we have to look at ourselves and see, what do we want to do, how do we want to live, and do we want to be in this financially stressed out mental state all the time? Because sometimes frustration and stress, it's due to finances, but there are ways that we can change that, because you have to take in a sense of, you need transportation, but do you need the latest and greatest and most fly thing that's on the road? No, you just need reliable transportation. When it comes to housing, do you need the most glamorous house? If you can't afford it right now, then find something that's within your means. It's doing all kinds of simple things. When it comes to your cell phone bill, even that, negotiate, get that thing lowered. Cable bill, do you really need cable, or can you stream your services through the internet and watch shows that way? We have gotten so set in a mindset that the wants that we want in our lives have become the must haves. And it's really not. It's the basic essentials that we need to have: shelter, food, around here, most likely some transportation. But you need to look at it from a realistic standpoint of, the money that I'm earning, does it support the lifestyle that I want? And if it's not, then you may have to curve back on some things in order to get those two things aligned. Also, it's not just about present day finances. You got to be thinking to the future. Because the thing about it, I don't think people are going to be passing away around age 50, even 60. People are living longer. We're living into our 80s and 90s. Me, for example, my grandfather and my grandmother on my father's side lived to age 100 and 101. So you have to be realistic and not say, oh, well, let me put off saving and retirement because I have time. Time is the one commodity you do not get to buy back. Once that day is gone, you can't buy it back. So you need to plan the best way possible to make your dollars make sense and work for you. So looking at the future when it comes to retirement, you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of, if you're in a job and they offer a 401k or some type of retirement plan and they give you matching, at least start an account with that retirement up to the match. Then there are strategies and other ways to redirect your money so you can make your money work better for you. You can set it up in a way where down the road you can have a stream of that retirement coming from the job that you have within that retirement account, then setting up a vehicle where you can have tax-free retirement coming into your household. These are the ways that people who have money, they strategize how the best way their money is going to work for them. Because now people don't want to think about it. Taxes. When it comes to taxes, right now, you know exactly what the tax rate is. But unfortunately, in 2025 and then 2026, you have no clue, because guess what? This current tax law is ending in 2025. So people who have money, who have educated themselves, are setting themselves up in a way that even when that tax rate changes, because it's going to change, because unfortunately our debt, national debt, is increasing, increasing, and increasing. There is no bottomless pit of money where that money is coming from. It has to be paid somehow and in some way. So it's educating yourself on knowing how things are being paid, the national debt, how it's being paid down in this country. And guess what? The low-hanging fruit of how it's being paid is taxes. And the even lower fruit of where they get the most taxes from citizens, is from retirement accounts. So once you start taking that distribution, guess what? Uncle Sam's coming to take his portion because he lets you build without taking any taxes. These are the things where you have to educate yourself, because he's taking his taxes, and then also the companies that are managing your retirement funds are going to take their piece. And so in present day, start redirecting. Instead of putting your money in a savings account where you're barely getting any interest at all on an annual rate, put it into a vehicle, into a process, into an investment that's going to work better for you to grow your money. So you are not stressing out on if something comes up, I have something. Because I'm going to be honest with you. The perfect scenario is having your emergency fund that can be 3 to 6 months of income sitting in a bank account, also having a vehicle where you can tap into it, where you can pull money and be your own bank, where you don't touch that and you don't touch your savings, and then also saving for retirement. But people think about that and they get overwhelmed. Where the reality, we should be thinking that way and putting those monies in those buckets. So we have life rafts set up for us financially. So we're not repeating the cycle of the financial unfortunate and uncertainties we've had for the past. Because in the Black community, it wasn't a dinner table topic to talk about retirement, credit, how you're saving, how to do this and how to do home ownership. None of that stuff was really spoken in the majority of the households. So now we are playing catch up. And we have to now take the stand and take the time to change the next generation's thinking and planning, because we want to let them know it's nice to have the label things like Shanae was talking about the Gucci and the Fendi and all the other stuff. But is it a necessity that we need to have? It's breaking that mindset that it has become the norm that you have to have something expensive in order to have value to yourself. Who and is that purse, that fancy purse, going to be putting food on your table? Is that fancy purse going to be putting gas in your tank when you need to go to work? It's not. So we need to start waking up, because guess what? That's how people who are millionaires and multimillionaires, that's how they think. They don't think, oh, well, I got my first million. Let me go buy the biggest chain that's on the block. It's quite the opposite. I love to see that Facebook meme out there of Jay-Z. They have a comparison of when Jay-Z had $100,000 and when he had 100 million. He had $100,000. He had on 6 gold chains, a Rolex, flyest shoes, and the flyest clothes. When he hit 100 million, he had a nice little watch, and that was it. Because his mindset had to change in order for him to go to a next level when it comes to finances. The more, and that's the crazy thing about it, when it comes to finances, the more you start educating yourself and knowing the value of the dollar, how can I put it, the tighter and more critical you are of how you spend your dollar.
Right.
Because people who are having 6-figure accounts, 7-figure accounts, they're not too flashy. And you can go out there and see, they're not living a flashy lifestyle. You know, they might do that in order to pull you into those Facebook ads. But when you go to their day-to-day living, that's not how it's working, because they want to make sure it's growing and growing, because they want to make sure where if they go into a store and they do buy something, it's not a worry of, let me pull up my bank on my app and see what my balance is to see whether or not I can afford it. They already know what they can and cannot afford before they even walk into a store. So there's no stress. So we have to, as a community, need to get to that mindset, and we need to start changing it of seeing what is reality versus what is a dream we would like to have. And in this state of mind, there are so many opportunities where you can monetize a skill online, because guess what? We were all locked down in our houses. But guess what? Technology was available. So things that you were used to doing in a brick and mortar store, it moved to online. So people like, the guy Jeff Bezos with Amazon, he had thought about it years ago and everything like that. But it's like you have to start thinking and doing research and seeing what's the next best thing I can invest my money in to be ahead of the curve. Because that's the best feeling. Think about if you had been on the Amazon bandwagon before it happened, and right, where your money would be in a state of today. So it's thinking that way of how we can invest and use our money in ways and strategies where, once again, we're paying the least amount of taxes, but we're having the best amount of growth on our monies and on our dollars. We need to start making that a revolution. and how the mindset we have on finances, because that is still the area we are lagging and lacking and lagging behind today. When Ladrine was talking about Black Wall Street, yes, they came to burn it down, but you know what? Let's rebuild it back again, because right now the momentum is so strong. Who's going to come and stop us? But we have to break those mindsets that it can't be done, that I only can have my 9 to 5, because sometimes you got to stretch yourself if you want to have a better life. You got to do some sacrifices, but it can be done. Also, like I said, and let me just make a plug. Me and Ladrine are coming up and coming together where we're going to be doing a webinar. So we're going to be setting up a webinar so I can go into more detail when it comes to financial strategies, especially having tax-free strategies in your retirement and in other aspects of your life, and making sure that you're set up properly and making sure you're doing the right things with your money. And as you can see, I'm so sorry, I'm very passionate about this area. And I want us to start seeking change. I want us to start doing better so we can, when you know better, you can do better. And when you do better, you'll have more. So that's where I want us to start doing in our community.
Absolutely. Yes. So thank you all so much. I absolutely love Money Making Mondays. I always walk away with some information, always walk away being educated, and it always challenges me to do some research and to pull out some figures. So we talked about a various number of things, from the circulation of the dollar in the Black community. So that whole thing of a month versus 6 hours, yeah, do your homework. It is a real thing. And start seeing what you can do to help back to pour into our community. And again, I'm not asking, or even the challenge is not for anybody to do anything of a less quality or a less customer service. There are businesses out here that has customer service and products that are up to par. So make sure that when you can, that you are putting the money back into the Black community so that we can increase from that 6 hours compared to our counterparts who have up to 28 days or almost a month. And Shanae hit on some great points and some great information in terms of what you can do and the way that you go about thinking. Janice hit upon it from the financial standpoint of investing and mortgages, and just looking at your current situation and looking at different ways of what you can do. The young lady, we're going to try to figure out a way to have her back on the show. It was kind of last minute, but her topic is very interesting. So definitely want to learn more about that. And Sakajuwi, what can I say about that? Like, your everyday budgeting and your everyday management of your dollars is really, we talk about this not just this month, not just this time, because we're focusing on the Black dollar, but she talks about this as well as the other ladies. They bring information about this on a monthly basis. So I really encourage y'all to pay attention and to think and listen to some of the things and reach out to them. They all have different businesses or different offerings that they have through their business for initial discussion. If you want to know about investing, if you need credit repair, and also if you want to learn how to better manage your money, they are the financial gurus. And I won't repeat what Dr. Jawir said. You will receive more information about the webinar. So hopefully we'll have flyers and information for sign up by next week's show. So thank you all so much and for tuning in. One last thing that I want to say, and Kevin and Tasha, I might need to bring y'all on. This is a bonus month, so I have some other things in the work, but might have to bring y'all on. So quickly, we were talking about the Black Lives Matter, the painting, and also the renaming of the street. And Kevin was saying that he's not impressed, and he provided his valid reasons of why. And I chimed in terms of, I can understand like what he's saying about what she didn't do, but I'm talking about what she did do. And for me, for a political standpoint and from a personal standpoint as of her, that was a pivotal move that she made on so many different ways. And then Latasha Briscoe chimed in about no, it won't bring back any deaths or any other. It won't fix any of the wrongs that she did. But the change we need will come from legislation. And she went on to talk about the top down and making noise. But specifically, she said what the mayor of D.C. did was step away from politics. And I beg the difference. I still think it was a political move as well. But stepped away from politics and say, I am a black human first. Nothing would change as a result of lives lost or how they were lost, but forcing elected officials to understand we are not going to be quiet. This is not just for a moment. We demand new laws and reformation to protect our people. That's the new direction. Yes, it is just letters on the street, but the world is watching. We have support from overseas, Paris, everywhere. When I look at the news, the small times that I do, it's like so much support. And when I was uptown, when I went up my mom's house, I saw so many Caucasians carrying flags and walking down to the march. And I wanted to stop and interview them, but it was just so many people. But anyway, thank you all so much. Make sure you share out the show. Black Lives Matter. That's what we will be focusing on for, I don't know. I don't know for how long. Until we have used our platform to the fullest, that's what we will be promoting, and that's what we will be discussing. So thank you all. Share the information. Make sure you follow us on all social medias. Join the Facebook group if you have not already. Follow us on social media from Instagram as well. And sign up for our, subscribe to our YouTube page. But thank you all so much for tuning in. And thank you so much for the information and all of the additional people that have joined in. We really appreciate you.